Have you ever tried studying for a test, only to find yourself nodding off or struggling to concentrate? It turns out that sleep plays a crucial role in learning and memory, but why do we sometimes feel so sleepy when we're trying to absorb new information? Hello viewers, and welcome to our video on the science of sleep and learning. Have you ever found yourself struggling to stay awake while trying to learn new information? You're not alone. In this video, we'll explore the fascinating ways in which our brains process and store new knowledge. So sit back, relax, and let's dive into the world of sleep and learning. There are many theories as to why we fall asleep while learning new information, but the most likely explanation is that our brains are simply not wired to process large amounts of information at once. When we try to learn too much at once, our brains become overloaded and we eventually fall asleep. So if you find yourself dozing off while studying for a test, it might be best to break up your material into smaller chunks and study it over a longer period of time. The functions of sleep. There are many different theories as to why we sleep, but one of the most widely accepted is that sleep helps us to consolidate new information. In other words, when we learn something new during the day, our brain needs time to process and store that information. And it seems that the best time to do that is during sleep. One study found that people who learned a new task and then slept for 8 hours were better able to remember the task the next day than those who didn't sleep. The researchers believe that during sleep, our brains replay the events of the day in a way that helps to solidify the memories. How sleep helps us to learn new information. We all know that a good night's sleep is important for our health, but did you know that it's also essential for learning new information? That's right, sleep plays a vital role in helping us to consolidate new memories and learn new information. So, why do we fall asleep while learning new information? It's all down to the way our brains process information. When we first learn something new, our brains encode the information into what are known as short-term memories. During sleep, our brains replay the events of the day in a process known as rehearsal. This helps to solidify the new memories and makes them easier to recall later on. Sleep also helps to clear out any unwanted or unneeded information from our short-term memories, making way for new information to be learned. Why we fall asleep while learning new information. There are a few reasons why we might fall asleep while learning new information. First, our brains need sleep in order to consolidate new information. That means that if we're trying to learn something new right before bed, we might not be able to retain as much of the information as we would if we learned it during the day. Second, our brains are more likely to wander off during a boring lecture or reading material. If we're not interested in what we're learning, our brains are more likely to wander and we might start to feel sleepy. Finally, stress and anxiety can also contribute to sleepiness. Why does this happen? There are a few possible explanations. First, it could be that you're tired and your brain is just looking for an opportunity to rest. If you're trying to learn something new when you're already tired, your brain may just decide to take a break. Second, it could be that the information you're trying to learn is boring or uninteresting to you. If your brain isn't engaged with the material, it may start to drift off. Finally, it's also possible that you're not learning the material in an effective way. If you're not actively engaged in the learning process, your brain may not be able to process the information and may start to shut down. If you find yourself falling asleep while trying to learn something new, it's important to take a step back and assess the situation. Are you tired? Is the material boring? Are you using an effective learning method? If you're tired, the best solution is to get some rest. It's difficult to learn new information when you're exhausted, so it's important to make sure you're well rested before you start trying to learn something new. If the material is boring, you may need to find a more interesting way to learn it. There are a variety of different learning methods available, so experiment until you find one that works for you. Finally, if you're not using an effective learning method, you may need to change your approach. Active learning methods, such as spaced repetition, are more likely to be effective than passive methods, such as simply reading the material. We all know the feeling. You're trying to learn something new, whether it's for school or work, and all of a sudden, you feel your eyelids getting heavy. You fight it for a little while, but eventually, you give in and take a nap. It turns out, there are a few reasons why we fall asleep while learning new information. One reason is that our brains are trying to consolidate the new information we're taking in. This process of consolidation helps us to better remember the information later on. However, this isn't the only reason we fall asleep while learning. Another reason has to do with our natural body clock, or circadian rhythm. This is the 24-hour cycle that our bodies operate on, and it's controlled by a number of factors, including light exposure and temperature. During the day, our bodies are naturally programmed to be more alert and awake. But as the day goes on and exposure to light decreases, our bodies start to produce more of the hormone melatonin, which makes us feel sleepy. So, if you're trying to learn something new in the evening or at night, it's not surprising that you might feel drowsy. Our brains are simply responding to the natural cues our bodies are receiving. You can also try to create a more stimulating learning environment for yourself, such as by listening to music or working in a well-lit room. And, of course, make sure you're getting enough rest at night so you're not starting your learning session feeling already tired. If you find that you're still struggling to stay awake while learning new information, it might be a good idea to talk to your doctor. Another theory is that sleep helps our brains consolidate new information. When we learn something new, our brains create new connections between neurons. Whatever the reason, it's clear that trying to learn new information when we're tired is not an effective strategy. And there you have it, the science behind why we fall asleep while learning new information. By understanding the role of sleep in learning and memory, we can take steps to maximize our learning potential and get the most out of our study sessions. I hope you all like this video. Don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe my channel. And also share it with your friends and family. We will be back soon with a new video. Till then, keep supporting and take care.